In 1946, a computer filled an entire room. Today, one slips into your pocket and runs a million times faster. How did we jump so far so fast? A sliver of silicon, smaller than your fingernail, rewired the world. This is the improbable story of the microchip and why life in 2025 wouldn't look anything like this without it. Welcome to Brainery, where every video unlocks one bite-sized breakthrough. Today's slice? The silicon chip that changed everything. You'll discover how a few square millimeters of crystal became the beating heart of modern life, and what the next generation of chips means for every device you touch. Our story begins on a humid Texas morning, September 12, 1958. Engineer Jack Kilby shows his boss a thumb-sized slab of germanium wired with gold. It isn't pretty, but it proves an audacious idea, putting all the parts of a circuit on a single piece of semiconductor. 300 miles away, physicist Robert Noyce sketches the same dream. His version swaps germanium for silicon and adds a revolutionary planar process. Together, Kilby and Noyce ignite the integrated circuit age, replacing miles of hand-soldered wire with patterns finer than a human hair. So, what exactly is a microchip? Picture an electronic city built on a flawless slice of silicon. The crystal lattice guides electrons, while layers of oxide, metal, and dielectric stack into a 20-story maze of microscopic highways. Those highways link on-off switches called transistors. A single transistor in 1947 mashed your thumbnail. Today, nearly 200 million fit on 1 square millimeter. When power flows, electrons race through the lattice at near light speed. Fast forward to 1971. Intel unveils the 4004 chip, a 4-bit brain small enough to balance on a fingertip. For the first time, an entire CPU lives on a single chip, driving calculators, cash registers, and setting the stage for the personal computer. The 4004 chip held 2,300 transistors. For reference, Apple's M3 Max now packs 92 billion. That outrageous scaling follows Moore's law. In 1965, Gordon Moore observed that transistor counts double roughly every 2 years. Smaller transistors switch faster, use less power, and, crucially, cost less. The price of a single transistor has dropped over 100,000-fold since the 1970s, thanks to breakthroughs like extreme ultraviolet lithography, carving 5-nanometer features into silicon. Shrinking hardware let computing escape the lab. First, the mainframe shrank into the mini-computer, then into the desktop PC. And in 2007, a glass rectangle called the iPhone placed a supercomputer in your pocket. Within a decade, we shipped more smartphones each year than there were people on Earth in the 1950s. Every swipe, selfie, and stream depends on a river of silicon no thicker than a playing card. Chips now hide everywhere: car brakes, pacemakers, traffic lights, dishwashers, and doorbells. By the time you pour your cereal, you've already touched over 1,000 microchips. They regulate voltage in toothbrushes, steer airliners across oceans, choreograph Broadway lights, and decode viral DNA. Silicon moves money, too. The semiconductor industry drives over $500 billion in revenue each year. Entire economies orbit the fabs of Taiwan, South Korea, the United States, and fast catching up China. A single EUV lithography machine costs more than a Boeing 747. When COVID choked supply lines, automakers stalled and game consoles vanished, proving that a microscopic shortage can freeze the planet. Governments took notice. New laws like the US CHIPS Act, Europe's CHIPS Act, and others now pour billions into local fabrication, turning silicon into geopolitics. What's next? Chips for artificial intelligence are growing fast. NVIDIA's latest GPUs pack 80 billion transistors to teach machines how to speak, paint, and drive. Wafer-scale engines the size of an iPad will train neural networks in hours instead of weeks. Neuromorphic chips mimic brain synapses, aiming for efficiency 1,000 times better than modern CPUs. And beyond silicon lie quantum chips, cooled to near absolute zero, where a single chip could solve problems older than mathematics itself. Each breakthrough starts the same way, with an engineer staring at a new slice of possibility. Kilby's prototype, Noyce's sketch, the 4004, the smartphone in your hand, all connected by that shimmering thread of silicon. The microchip didn't just make gadgets smarter, It redefined how humanity learns, heals, moves, and dreams. All with something you could hide under your fingernail. If you enjoyed unlocking this wonder of engineering, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is Brainery. See you in the next unlock.